Joe Rogan has just broken down one of the most uncomfortable matchups in the lightweight division right now.
He could be the next Conor McGregor star.
I want that world title. All laugh all yous want and say I'll never be champ. You gang of mushrooms.
Like that kind of a star where the whole
He
world
has
is watching.
that weird personality.
Yes.
Yeah, he has that.
Well, he's very disarming because people, they see, I talked about this in the last pay-per-view. I said it's a very sneaky trick because guys like you look at you, the way you carry yourself, the way you, that's a fighter. Like you look at that guy's a dangerous motherfucker. But when you see Paddy, he's dancing like this, his hair is flopping around like he's in the Beatles.
Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett should not be for an interim title. So it was announced that Justin and Paddy will be fighting in January as UFC 324's headliner, and as much as I like this matchup, I have a problem with it being for an interim title. Because champion Ilia Topuria says he won't be fighting in the first quarter of 2026 due to personal reasons, so he expects to make his return around spring. So not only do I think that is not too long enough to warrant an interim title fight, but it also feels wrong to have this fight without Arman Tsarukyan in it. This is a belt for the third best fighter in the division, and honestly, it may not even be for the third best when we consider fighters like Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. This is something the UFC did to appease Justin, who has basically said he's only fighting for UFC gold, and for Paddy, who the promotion wants to see become a champion. Overall, great fight, and I'm going to side with Paddy on this one as I think Justin is past his best days, but yeah, this should not be for an interim title. But what do you think?
What's up, guys? We're here at the Underground Kings. I'm here with my man, William Finley, Taekwondo world champion. I want to break down UFC 324 on January 24th this month in Vegas. All this month, we're going to be breaking down Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Some keys to win for Justin Gaethje. We all know Justin Gaethje. I know personally his calf kick is devastating and changes the tide of every single fight. So on a guy like Paddy Pimblett, this might even be the size difference. Paddy is going to be damn near 200 pounds the night of the fight. I don't think it's going to be this drastic. Will's probably about what, 220?
Sir.
About 220, and right now I'm probably 200, so that's 20-pound difference. But I think the keys to Justin's victory, it's one of the main keys, is being able to use this calf kick effectively. So if me and Will are lined up here, the main thing I want Justin to be able to do is I want him to be able to jab and slap and put Paddy Pimblett, put his weight on this leg. I want him to constantly be putting his weight on this leg. So he's going to do that by cutting off this side, jab, slap, and before Paddy could even step, bombing that leg kick there. And if you look, Paddy was doing a great job doing a calf kick against Mike Chandler. He was doing a great job kicking, so he's probably going to return it. But I think in general, if Justin is able to keep bombing this leg kick, I think it's really going to shut Paddy down and be able to nullify a lot of his attacks. You might start seeing him limp. You might start seeing him switch stances. From there, Justin can use the speed of his hands and use his boxing. I think it's much better than Paddy's. I think he's faster, and I think he's cleaner on the inside. I think this calf kick's going to be one of the main things to be able to beat Paddy in this fight.
Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. And the more you break it down, the clearer it becomes that this fight is either a career-defining moment for Paddy or an absolute nightmare waiting to unfold. Because when you're talking about Justin Gaethje, you're not talking about a normal lightweight. You're talking about one of the most violent, relentless pressure fighters the UFC has ever seen. Gaethje doesn't fight to win rounds, he fights to break people. Devastating leg kicks early, brutal hooks in the pocket, and a pace that forces opponents into mistakes whether they want to or not. Joe Rogan has said before that Gaethje is one of the few fighters who can change a fight with a single exchange, and that's exactly why this matchup feels so dangerous.
I just had the coolest story, and I heard this yesterday, and I didn't bring it to you because I didn't believe it. I had to confirm it. So Paddy the Baddy just got beat. Paddy the Baddy, as a matter of fact, got submitted. Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? So there's something that goes on in England. This is Paddy's gym. Paddy enters this thing every year. It's called something. And then they have a king of the mat. It's a grappling tournament, but they have this thing, this king of the mat. Paddy was in the finals a year ago. And after an hour, they just stopped the match and called it a draw. So he was a co-champion. So whatever this thing is, it's a thing that matters to him. So he enters it, I guess, over the weekend. I guess. And he ends up getting beat. Now, one of the reasons it's so cool is I don't think you have heard about it. One of the reasons I think it's so cool is there's no other sport where this would happen. One of the reasons I think it's so cool is it doesn't matter. And that's one cool thing about our community. Like if a guy like Paddy wants to go out there and take a risk and do something like this, he can chalk that up to a tremendous victory. He can also chalk that up to a workout. And you know what? We need to keep it that way. It's one thing that we have done very well as a group, and there's no other sport that's like that. You will never hear of a time that LeBron drops in for a one-on-one with the college star. He just couldn't take the risk. He just simply could not take the risk. This happened when I was a kid. It was to John McEnroe in Oregon. This was before the internet was a thing, but John McEnroe came out and he played somebody. We had some high school star down in, it was down in Eastern Oregon. I want to say maybe Pendleton. At any rate, the guy beat him. Our high school star beat McEnroe. And this was a thing. This was a thing. But it's one of these reasons why you can't ever get that. Like you were left to believe that the NBA is better than the NCAA. You're led to believe the NFL is better than college football. I'm sure you're right, but there's exceptions, and there's certain positions at certain times where there are exceptions. You will never know. Those guys will never take the risk. They will never take to the field. They will never take to a three-point stance and go, they'll just never do it. On the outside chance that somebody's filming and somebody puts it, it's one of those things. And you get guys that love to compete. I mean, I got one resentment towards our sport. One. Which is that we only do it 3 times a year. I mean, I can't even tell you the lack of respect that I have for a guy that misses a martial arts fight.
So I'm going to iron you out.
Of course. Big fights coming up. How do you see yourself getting it done against Gaethje? Of course, he's had a lot of battles. There's a lot of fight tape to watch on him, to say the least. He's had a bunch of scraps. He's got finishes. He's been finishes. How do you see yourself getting it done? Because he hasn't really fought a guy like, I mean, you're a bit of an Oliveira, but you know what I mean? It's a new style for him. You're not just the typical up-and-coming scrapper brawler that's going to get into a fun scrap with Gaethje. There's more intricacies to your game with the grappling as well. So how do you think you're going to get this one done?
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as. But I can see myself dropping him, ending up on top and either TKOing him or submitting him or TKOing him a ground and pound.
Nice. That's the prediction I got. You mentioned Luke Riley there. I was going to save this bit of a segue later into the interview, but fucking what a KO in his debut. I was talking about Luke Riley fucking a few years before he got into the UFC. I keep telling people to look out for these guys on the regional scene, especially at Next Gen. They got a lot of up-and-comers. I know you got George Staines there as well, the fucking Elon Musk of MMA.
Elon Musk of MMA.
Yeah, he's you know, not the billionaire thing, but that build's unique.
Yeah,
George Staines.
It is, lad. He's got.
But here's where it gets interesting, because Paddy Pimblett isn't walking into this fight blind. Paddy's style has always been built on chaos, pressure, and dragging opponents into uncomfortable territory. He's not afraid to get hit if it means creating an opening, and he thrives when fights turn scrappy. Rogan has pointed out that Paddy's biggest strength isn't just his grappling, it's his ability to stay calm in madness. When opponents panic, Paddy accelerates. Stylistically, this is where the fight becomes fascinating. Gaither wants the fight standing at mid-range, chopping the legs, forcing exchanges, and turning it into a war of durability. Paddy wants chaos, clinches, scrambles, awkward entries, and moments where Gaither's aggression can be turned against him. If Paddy can survive the early storm and create grappling exchanges, this fight looks very different. And that's the real question everyone is debating. Can Paddy Pimblett survive Justin Gaither's early pressure? Because Gaither doesn't start slow, he comes out fast.
I expect a war, obviously. Justin Gaethje's one of my favourite fighters to watch. He's your favourite fighter's favourite fighter, and it's going to be a pleasure to get in there with him. I'd love to have a brawl for 5 rounds. As he said, him versus Michael Johnson, how he introduced himself to the UFC. I'd love to have a fight like that, but I don't think it'll pan out that way. But let's see what happens. Hopefully, I'm getting a performance bonus and a fight of the night bonus.
Rumors have been swirling that Justin Gaethje is injured. A few videos have surfaced of him diving and cracking heads with someone, which wobbled him bad. Do you have any inside information? Have you not heard of this? Okay, actually, I got to be honest. I thought you guys were talking about. I thought he was going to ask about. I saw a bunch of pictures about this thing.
Though, right?
Yeah. The ingrown hair is what he's claiming.
Okay, right.
Ingrown hair and a bit of brisket. Yeah.
Brisket.
Yeah, a little brisket on the chin.
Because they said he had herpes on his mouth. He's like, I was eating brisket and I had an ingrown hair.
If that is an ingrown hair, that's the gnarliest ingrown hair I've ever seen. That makes like a little red dot on your neck if it's an ingrown hair. He had a crater in his neck. I don't know about that.
By the way, could you imagine, just for a moment, you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
I do know
exactly where you're going.
Enter Armin.
Yes.
Enter Armin.
Yes, it's time. Now, is Armin ready is the thing.
Somebody walks out
to those videos.
No,
I'm like, oh, fuck.
Enter Armin. Enter Armin. Walking out there eating a fucking turkey leg. I mean, come on.
100.
I think Paddy obviously needs to do what he does really well, which is fights out long, right? He uses those kicks up the middle. He's got a good knee that we saw him land against Chandler. And then almost kind of land your points and force Gaethje to try to close the distance, and that's when I would try to wrestle. He looks huge to me in a good way nowadays, Paddy. I'm always impressed. It seems like he's getting fitter and fitter, further and further out from these fights as well. We only see Fat Paddy for a little bit. Gaethje, I think keeping it on the feet, boxing in close, and just trying to murder the legs like he always does is something that he needs to do. I don't know if testing Paddy's jiu-jitsu is the move for Gaethje. So it'll be interesting, man. But I think Paddy's got a goddamn good chance.
Joe Rogan has said before that Gaither's biggest danger comes in the first 2 rounds, when his power, leg kicks, and pace are at their absolute peak. If Paddy can weather that storm and drag the fight into deeper waters, Gaither's aggression can suddenly become a liability. But if he can't, one clean Gaither combination could end the night instantly. The MMA community is completely split on this matchup. Some believe Paddy's chin, toughness, and grappling give him a real path to victory, while others think this is the fight where Paddy finally runs into a level of violence he's never experienced before.
7 years. How does it feel to be the Paramount debut? Is it like a bit of a, they like you? Is it a bit of an honor, or you don't really give a shit about that type of thing?
It is a little bit of an honor, like obviously, because they know they trust me with putting on a good show for the first main event in the Paramount era, but it's all about the title, lad. It's all about winning this interim belt. I wouldn't care if I was opening up the main card, lad. As long as I'm fighting for this belt, lad, it's all that matters.
Nice. All right then. This is a big matchup. We've come a long way, Paddy. We've come a long way from Luigi Vendramini to Justin Gaethje. Is there any surrealness to it? Like you're actually fighting this guy that you probably, I would imagine, was watching before you even got into the UFC. This is fucking Justin, the highlight reel Gaethje over here. Like,
lad, I can remember watching him fight Nick Newell, lad, the fellow with one arm before he was even in the UFC. You know what I mean? I can remember my teammate, who's now my coach, Adam Ventry, telling me, you need to watch this Justin Gaethje, lad, he's unbelievable. And I watched him and was like, oh my God, he's sick. So when he had his debut against Michael Johnson, I can remember watching that live, just thinking, wow, this fella can bang. But you know, that's the position that you get into in this sport, lad. You've got to end up fighting your heroes or you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, you've been in this position before against Tony Ferguson. When you're in the cage, it's completely locked in. But is there a moment where you're thinking like, "Fucking hell, this is Tony Ferguson, lad"? Is there any
You think that before it, like, but when you're in the cage, that's it. I'm just looking at him, thinking, "You're trying to stop my dreams. You're trying to take food out of my kids' mouths, so I'm gonna iron you out."
It's a new style for him. You're not just the typical up-and-coming scrapper brawler that's going to get into a fun scrap with Gaethje. There's more intricacies to your game with the grappling as well. So how do you think you're going to get this one done?
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that. At this level, that's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one.
My final prediction for this fight, I'm taking the underdog, Justin Gaethje, by KO. If he's gonna get it done, he has to get it done by KO. And I think
leg kicks too.
Yeah, the leg kicks.
Calf kicks.
And if you watch the Michael Chandler, even though Paddy just kind of dismantled Michael Chandler, but Chandler landed some good hits on him and made him back up a bit where it snapped his head. And I think Justin Gaethje is a way better striker than Michael Chandler.
Absolutely.
So I think what we saw with the Fiziev fight, when Justin Gaethje gets into those clinch situations, the uppercut is nasty, bro. And I don't think...
You know, that's our biggest video on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like over 1 million views.
Yeah.
Check it out.
But I think when Justin Gaethje gets a hand, like, finds the range on him and Paddy's chin's gonna be exposed like that, or in a clinch situation, uppercuts him.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna put Paddy away.
Damn, what could be next for Paddy? Ilia says he thinks Paddy kills Justin Gaethje. I don't think kill him, dude. Justin Gaethje is so fucking solid. But again, a 5-round fight, 2, 3, 4 rounds into the match, and Paddy does score a takedown. Now he's got maybe Justin Gaethje on his back in half guard.
That's very plausible. Justin forgets he fucking wrestling.
He definitely trains it, but you could see why Ilia thinks that a little bit. Plus, Justin Gaethje's 36, Paddy Pimblett's 30 years old. But again, you can't count Justin Gaethje out. He could knock Paddy the fuck out.
I would lean towards Justin in that fight.
That's what makes this matchup so compelling. It's not about hype anymore, it's about real answers. Win or lose, this fight changes everything. If Paddy wins, he instantly becomes a legitimate contender and silences every critic overnight. If Gaether wins, it reinforces why he's one of the most feared lightweights of this generation. Either way, Joe Rogan is right. This isn't just another fight, it's a collision of styles, pressure, and mental toughness that could define both careers. And when the cage door closes, there's nowhere to hide.